And gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. All rise, court is back in session. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is a man who is man and machine, power extreme, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Oh man, what is that from?
Come on.
It's a deep pull.
It's retro yet topical, kind of. In a roundabout way, it's topical.
That's not going to get me there.
It's a deep pull, but like just on the surface of what we would consider deep.
Man and machine, power extreme. Is that a Centurion reference?
Centurion.
Wow. I had to dig for that one.
That was a pretty sweet toy line that didn't have the lifespan.
You know, it's funny because you shared that Sears catalog link with me this week.
You get so lost in that thing.
And you said check out 86, so I checked out 86, and that Centurion toy line was pretty banging.
Yeah.
Like it was big.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that big. My first exposure to that cartoon actually wasn't until the Cartoon Network started rerunning it.
Yeah.
And like I had no idea that show existed when it was like new.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Toys were friggin' awesome.
One of many.
Yeah.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe the 80s.
Oh god. That website. You get so
Oh
lost.
yeah, well, at first I was like, how do I even tackle this? It's a 1,000-page catalog.
You just go thumbnail mode and scroll till you see the toys.
Well, there's that. I just searched toys or like G.I. Joe, and I'm like, okay, I'm in the ballpark. I'm good to go. Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
And it's funny because you can kind of see when the line starts to kind of taper off.
Yeah.
Like at some point, G.I. Joe is a 2-page spread.
About 91, 92.
Yeah.
Then it was gone. By 94, it was gone.
Yeah.
So anyway,
here we are.
Hi.
Back again. Hi. What was that website? Just so our
I don't know.
listeners can know.
You can send it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Check the Facebook page. We'll repost.
If you're of the Xennial generation, which we are.
Sure.
I learned that phrase this week, Xennial. It's like a micro generation that comes in between Generation X and Millennials.
Yeah.
We were the last generation to not have technology and the first generation to embrace technology at the same time.
I've seen the varying degrees of classification of what is a millennial, and some include me and some don't. So I will just have to self-identify and say, no, I'm not a millennial. I'll take the Xennial. I like that. I'm a little older. This is like my whole relationship with like heavy metal. I was too young to care or want to listen to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, but I was too old to really get into the new wave of stuff in the early 2000s. So I'm in this weird little mini zone. It's hard to explain.
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so let's get to our opening statements. Sir, how was your week?
Well, there's a lot going on here, Carl. A lot going on.
I've noticed I walked in.
Yeah, so you see
wires and such not.
Yeah, there's home reno in the works. I guess I might as well start there, even though I'll back up before we continue. So Saturday, we'll get back to Friday, but Saturday, I spent most of the day doing this. Well, we're flip-flopping, as you can tell, the front living room, right? So The dining room becomes the living room becomes the dining room, because my real living room is in the back of the house, which is the big, attractive, great room that everyone goes, ooh, and that's where we are 90% of the time. The front doesn't really get used. So I'm in the process of turning the big, air quotes, living room into the dining room up in the front, and the dining room will become like a den, like some kind of practical space. So I can put like the desk that's in there, put that in there, tuck the exercise bike away in there, maybe throw some French doors up and just give it like some, more
or less a utility room.
A den. Yeah, a den. I mean, it's what it is. It's a den. It's a little room with a desk and a chair and whatever you want it to be, right? But not a living room, Yeah. Dining room will adjoin the kitchen and be much more user-friendly, I guess, because it's directly adjoining the kitchen in this case.
See, I hear den and I think like smoking jacket, leather-bound books.
Sure, go for it.
Rich mahogany.
I'll throw some in there if you want. Why not? But the problem is there's no electrical in that room. Well, there's plugs, but there is no lighting. So what my father and I have decided to do is tap into some power on the opposite wall in the kitchen here. And while I've got the floor, I got the carpet all pulled up upstairs because we're replacing that floor as soon as we get back from California. The second, 2 days after we're back, that floor is getting put in up there. So while we've got access to the floor, we've cut some holes in the floor and we've drilled some holes in the floor to get into the wall cavity to get at electrical, and it's been very complicated. So we were doing that, and what a good time that was on Saturday. There's a certain point when you're doing kind of things like this when you realize we're going to do it as cleanly as possible, and then there's a certain point where
screw cleanly, let's just get it done.
Well, no, not exactly. Where an electrical box that was installed in the 1920s, okay?
Yep.
Is in that wall. And it's not like an electrical box today that's just kind of tacked into the frame.
Yep.
No. I swear to God, this thing was tacked into the frame, into the board in the wall, right?
Yep.
And then it has a metal bracket on the box where the wires are inside. The metal bracket that's part of the box extends across the beam, and then it is nailed into the beam by 4 nails, and then lath and plaster over it. So to get that out, we had to go ahead and just rip out a section of the wall to get that box out.
Yeah.
And we're not done. So tomorrow evening, we're going to finish this off. We're going to replace the box proper, wire it up proper. Right now, it's just loosely wired. And we got to put the switch in. So more holes to come.
Your Nintendo Switch?
No, not this time. Wall switch. So there's another hole in the wall to come. We're going to get all that taken care of tomorrow before we go.
Putting it on dimmer?
Yes.
Gotta do it dimmer.
Yeah, so actually it's that reminds me, I will have to text my old man and ask him what we need so we don't have to go scrambling for stuff tomorrow night when it's Dad, we got to get this done because I leave Thursday for California and I don't want to leave this. I don't want electrical is one of those repairs where I don't like leaving it undone.
Yep.
Sure, it's fine right now, no one's touching it. But
it's electricity.
I don't. Yeah.
Generally, my philosophy when approaching home improvement has always been if it deals with electricity or poop, I just hire someone to do it.
That's a fair. It's a good way to go. Way to go. So anyway, that was basically all of Saturday. Wasn't that St. Patrick's Day too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when we got done, I basically just indulged here at home alone with several beers to celebrate. I got my Irish on by my lonesome. It was fine.
Yeah,
it's good. Good.
Some would call that celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Others call it alcoholism.
Hey, you do you. Whatever you call it. So let's back up then to Friday. So Friday we had some gamings. That occurred. And just to, in general, the week that's been, I've been playing Final Fantasy 3 again on my Super NT, and glory. What? Number one, I love the Super NT. I love it. It's amazing, and if you are a Super Nintendo fan, there is no reason not to get one. It's just great. Final Fantasy 3 is my favorite Final Fantasy. And I would argue it's the best one. So I'm playing that and just enjoying the crap out of it. It's just glorious. The sprite work is brilliant, and the soundtrack is just amazing. Anyway, Friday, we played a new game.
Yes.
Klondike Rush?
Yes.
I enjoyed Klondike Rush.
I'm happy you did.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Once I kind of got the strategery down.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's money management. It's, I guess you could say, worker placement. But operates in a way that we are not accustomed to with games, as far as using like colors to identify things and whatnot. Because like we were kind of operating under, you want to cluster,
I think that's
the same color together in like certain areas, and that's kind of not what you don't want to do.
It's not what it just kind of worked out that way because that's a cheap way to get resources early. But when you start once you clustered up, like it's hard to expand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty interesting game. I think I would play it differently if we play it again. Like strategically, we'd have to play it differently.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until late in the game that I realized, like, I thought I was doing pretty well. That I looked over at Jen's board and I'm like, oh, nope, she's gonna win.
Jen, you always, I don't care what the game is, whether it's the first time she played it or the 101st time she's played it, you always have to keep your eyes on Jen.
Yeah,
she is always a threat to win because she's quiet.
Yeah,
she'll just sit there, gathering those victories and whatnot.
Sometimes you think she's not even paying attention.
Yeah,
especially when she's like half out, then you're done.
Yeah, when she's literally not paying attention, you're screwed.
I think she's working us all. To be honest with you,
could be.
Yeah,
could be.
So that's I enjoyed Klondike Rush. Good game.
Yeah, I definitely want to play it again at some point.
So that backs us up to Friday. Then I just told you about Saturday, Sunday. Not a lot. Again, a lot of this house stuff was going on, so I had to move a bed frame, which was unfortunate because I hurt myself doing it, and that was a good time. And just so here's what's a real problem with this whole flooring upstairs thing. My comics are up there. Those are going to be a real problem when they're putting this floor in. Yeah. So I may have to move my 15 long boxes down here, which means it's going to be 15 trips up and down the stairs with a long box.
I think
it's not good. It's not good.
I think if you find a way, and I'll definitely come and help you on this because it'd definitely be a 2-person job, mitigate some of the heavy lifting is to figure out some sort of slide system.
Slide them down the stairs?
No, seriously, yeah. Like you're at the top, I'm at the bottom. Just kind of slide them, like extend down, because if you extend your arm down, it's a long box.
Yeah,
it's not going to be sliding that much before I catch it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm just going to beast them. I'll just beast them downstairs. It'll be fine.
All right.
What I might need a hand with though, is some dresser stuff and those kind of things. Get those out of the way.
I'm sure Jay will be happy.
Oh, good. Yes. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I'll be there if you need me.
And today, really,
Tuesday.
Yeah. So we've got major breaking wrestling news that's kind of taken over everything.
Oh.
After 2 years of forced air quotes retirement, WWE decided to clear Daniel Bryan for in-ring action again.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
Explain to me why this is big.
Because he's the biggest star they've had since CM Punk, and arguably since Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, don't explain it to me like I'm an idiot for not knowing this. I don't watch. So I don't know.
That's the short version. That's all. So he was medically forced to retire because of concussions. WWE has a concussion lawsuit against it from several former stars, and they're very cautious about concussions. So when guys get knocked out now, they take them off the road, and they have the whole protocol and all that. Daniel Bryan admitted that he had many concussions in his career, and as a result, they shelved him. They made him retire. They kept him on as on-screen talent, but he has not wrestled in 2 years. He's passed every single test that he's had to take. He has gotten clearance from every doctor under the sun except for WWE's approved, air quotes, doctors, right? And he's been in this kind of limbo holding pattern for 2 years, and all he wants to do is wrestle. He is a wrestler. That's all he wants to do, period. Now they're clearing him. And it's interesting because here's the thing. His contract was supposed to be up in September. And all he wants to do is wrestle. And all anyone has basically said is that if he is not going to be able to wrestle, come September, he will be gone. And he will be in Japan, or he will be in Ring of Honor. He will be on the independent circuit. And wherever he goes, he will be a huge draw. Huge draw. So it looks like WWE is now caving a little bit, and that's not going to be a thing. He could still choose to leave in September, but I would assume that them saying, hey, you're good to go, he's going to choose to stay. I mean, the money's probably with the money. But then again, maybe not. But so here's where this gets all muddy for people like me and Jay, for instance. I don't think he was medically forced to retire. I think he had a medical issue, and WWE seized on it to sit him down and keep him out of the spotlight because he was a massively popular wrestler at the exact same time that they were trying to build up their golden boy Roman Reigns. And the fans didn't want Roman Reigns. They wanted Daniel Bryan. And they tried everything in their power not to let Daniel Bryan get his moment in the sun until they relented and they gave Daniel Bryan his moment in the sun and then had him try to get over Roman. And then when that didn't work, then they he did get a concussion in a match, and then they sat him down permanently. So the tinfoil hat people, like me and Jay possibly, we look at it and I don't know, again, medically, there's probably a reason why he had to back out. But I personally think a bigger factor was this little twerp, this indie twerp, this bingo hall twerp got over when we didn't want him to. And our golden boy that we're trying to get over isn't working out because everyone likes this other guy that we didn't make. So I think that they sat him down to get him out of the way. Could be wrong. And now, conveniently, as wrestling globally is kind of getting some heat again, but it's not necessarily WWE that's getting that heat. There's New Japan's global expansion. Britain's got a whole scene going on that WWE has actively been trying to squash, by the way. There's a lot of independent stuff going on. The Young Bucks and the Bullet Club are putting on a show in Chicago that's gonna sell 11,000 tickets by themselves. It's going to happen September. So wrestling's hot right now, just not necessarily WWE. So I think WWE sees like, well, if this guy goes anywhere, he's going to be an anchor for someone else.
Yeah.
We can't let that happen. That's just my thinking. It's cynical, and it's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was all medical and whatever. But I don't trust that company.
Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go?
I want him to go. I want him anywhere but WWE.
Gotcha.
However, since he is now cleared to wrestle, it does open up some possibilities for fun stuff before he leaves in September. In my fantasy scenario, he still leaves in September. But before then, he could wrestle AJ Styles and put on some classics. He could wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't think they've ever faced each other, to be honest with you. But they did train together many, many years ago when they were both rookie youths. And they know each other and they're friends. So that match has been kind of hovering in the fantasy zone for a while. It could come to fruition now. So some good things could happen from this. And I'm sure whatever he does from between now and then is going to be great, as long as he stays healthy. Cross your fingers. But I quietly, secretly, not so secretly, would rather he just leave and go to a company where I can watch him put on 5-star classics with, Kenny Omega and Okada and Zack Sabre Jr. and Naito.
So you don't want him to leave and go to a company. You just want him to leave and go to NJPW.
Basically, yes. Yeah. So anyway, that's all anyone's been talking about for the last 3 or 4 hours now since the news broke, and it's kind of breaking the internet in half. So WrestleMania is looking sort of salvageable at this point. Because, yes, we're getting Shinsuke and AJ round 2, but AJ is hurt. So,
like legit hurt?
Yes,
or?
legitimately hurt. Now, apparently, it's not severe enough where he's not going to wrestle at Mania.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much it's going to hinder him either. But in any case, this is all what's going on with the wrestling. And it's all relevant because I leave Thursday to go to California for a NJPW show. So, a lot going on. A lot going on.
Woo.
A lot going on, and I've monopolized the conversation.
Woo.
I'm done. How was your week?
My week was good. Friday night, like you said, we had the game night. Saturday was, yes, St. Patrick's Day, but also, more importantly to me, it was William's second birthday. So, happy birthday, my dear, dear son. He's now 2 years old. We had like immediate family over. I made my 3-meat Guinness chili. Had to make it with the extra stout Guinness this time because, trying to find standard Guinness
on St. Patrick's Day.
Like Wegmans on the day before St. Patrick's Day. Good luck. Didn't so much like it with the extra stout.
Huh.
Now everybody enjoyed it. I've eaten leftovers for the past couple days. Still good. It's just not quite the way I like it. I like a little stout in there, but you don't like the over stoutly. I guess if that's a word.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was Saturday. Sunday there was going to be an X-Wing tournament, but I decided not to play because I was out with you. I was over here Friday night for game night. Saturday was getting ready all day for the family, and then the family being over. I just wanted to have a day spent with family and whatnot. But that night, I actually went over to my friend Adam's house, and he had a bit of a game night there. And I got to play Rising Sun again.
Okay, all right.
I was not liking it as much.
Okay,
second time around. Seen a lot of flaws of the game, like just how things aren't always clearly as worded as they should be in all places that the wording should be located. So, I don't know. First time I played it, I liked it. Second time, saw some flaws in it. So, see what the third time holds.
If there is a third time.
I'm sure there will be. So, yeah, there was that. The wife and I continue on the road to Infinity War. We finished Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So good. It's so freaking good.
You still have a lot of catching up to do, though.
Yeah. And
what's next?
Well, next one was, and we started and finished it, was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Guardians is my favorite franchise within Marvel.
Wow. All right.
I can safely say that, even though they've only had 2 films. The themes of both films just speak to me more than the other films do.
All right.
Just the kind of...
It's familial.
Yeah, it's familial, but it's familial in a way that it's non-traditionally familial. Kind of in the way that, my blood relatives, as of right now in the immediate area, are my mother, and that's it. I've got some cousins and uncle in Ohio, and there's not really any communication there. At its peak, my blood relatives were my father, mother, grandmother, and grandfather. I've never had a big genetic family.
Gotcha.
My family's always been cobbled together of my, close friends. That's how I've kind of defined my family. So that's kind of very much the theme of the first Guardians, kind of finding family is where you find it.
Yeah.
And the second Guardians being essentially a father-son story.
Sure.
That speaks to me for obvious reasons I've talked about numerous times before. But yeah, I think after watching Guardians 1 through again, I was just like, this is my favorite franchise.
Okay.
Really. And still just crazy fun. Good times. So yeah. That, I think that was pretty much my week. Yeah.
Well, all right.
It was a good week. But, dear listener, if you would like to tell us about your week, if you'd like to send us any questions to be read on the show, if you'd like to send us any comments to be read on the show, you can find us at the following locations. You can go to Twitter, follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/devilsdupod. You can email us at thedevilsdupod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdupodcast.com. Oh, I also forgot to mention our guest appearance on the Geekiverse came out this past week.
It did.
Did you listen to it?
I did.
You put some really great old commercials in there and whatnot. I always like when Nate does that.
The editing was interesting. Folks, check that out. Go over to the Geekiverse. You can probably just Google that. Throw it in your Google machine.
Yeah, and, they're on iTunes.
Yeah, and SoundCloud and all the rest of the places you would find stuff. And just look for The Memory Machine. I think it's episode 12. Just look for me and Carl's pristine names shining in stars.
Yep.
And that's the episode that we talked about video games from 1984, 85 to 1990.
Yep.
And it was a good time.
It was a really good time. All right. That being said, Drew, we do have some questions.
Oh, I hope they pertain to the Serial Cinematic Universe.
Starting out with Mr. Chris Taylor. Question one. And these aren't really directed towards either one of us. They're just 3 questions in general.
Okay.
My sister raises chickens at her house. Would it be out of line to ask her to name one of them?
Carl clearly has not screened these questions.
No, I have. I just forgot. Would it be out of line to ask her to name one of them Henny Omega?
Henny Omega. Only if you can think if you could name 2 others, some other Matt or Nick.
The Wild Clucks.
The Young Clucks. I like
the Young Clucks.
The Young Clucks. Yes, Henny Omega and the Young Clucks. I'm okay with this. I approve. Just make sure it's Clucks. The L is key.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
Question 2. In this greater Serial Mascot cinematic universe,
yes,
would the New Day appear in it?
Oh, absolutely.
I only ask because Bootios is a real cereal.
Yes.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Bring him in. Yes. Absolutely yes.
All right. What was the you posted it on our Facebook page, the reference guide website you
Someone out there, bless this person, he should be involved in the space program, has been archiving all of this stuff. Serial mascots for the last 100 years. Every company, every brand, every cereal, every iteration of every character and their extended characters. It's like our field guide. Listeners, go on our Facebook page, find that link, go to that site, and just start just pour over it and start hitting us with the ideas. We'll find our story. We'll find all of our entire cast. It's all right there.
Plan out the phases.
Yeah. Oh, the phases. I didn't even think about phases. We could do phases. Oh my God. Yes. This all has to happen.
All right.
It's exciting.
Phase 2, we introduced the drink mascots.
Pump the brakes.
Punchy from Hawaiian Punch.
No, I don't like it.
Too bad. We're doing it.
Maybe after the reboot?
Yeah. No, we don't need a reboot. We're not DC.
Well, okay.
DC Films, anyway.
Fair enough.
Question 3. After finishing Jessica Jones, I asked around, and it seems like a majority of my friends have stated that the frequency of the releases of these Marvel Netflix shows is a bit too soon, too much.
Really?
Do you feel this is somewhat a valid argument, considering in the past you presented the idea that maybe Marvel should hit the pause button before releasing more movies, TVs after Infinity War or the inevitable Disney streaming launch?
I don't feel like they're too much.
I think the Netflix shows are at a perfect pace.
You always have a new one every few months.
We get 2 a year.
Yeah.
It's just right.
Yeah, two a year is A-okay.
Yeah. Especially for this show because it gives us, content.
A little breather. Content and then breather and ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And, 2 a year is fine. I don't know for a fact if it's ever going to get more than that. I
wouldn't want it to get more than that.
No, it'd be too much to cover and too much to watch and digest.
I think that 1 year you'd be going too long in between shows.
Yeah, we live in the binge era, even though I don't binge watch things, but lots of people do apparently. I pace that stuff out. It's fine. It's totally fine.
I can't sit down and do an entire season in one day.
Neither can I. But a lot of people can. So I think a lot of people, if anyone's complaining about there being too much, like, how slow are they watching this stuff? I don't watch things fast, and I'm fine.
Yeah. I think it's more of a valid complaint with the films. I mean, I'm enjoying what we're getting, but I think I can see where someone could say 3 here. It's a bit much.
Yeah, depends. I mean, until they're bad, which they haven't been. Well, in Marvel's case, anyway.
Black Panther, 5th week in a row, #1 at the box office.
Yeah,
Long live the king.
I guess we're jumping ahead of the news section, but I mean, I asked you before the weekend. So does Black Panther just cruise and destroy Tomb Raider? Tomb Raider's gonna bomb, right?
I don't think it bombed. I think after everyone saw what Black Panther was doing, expectations were adjusted for the next couple weeks of films.
They clearly wanted this to be a thing, though, right?
Tomb Raider?
Yes. Yeah, that was supposed to be like, yeah, come on. No, don't sell it short. They're trying to make that a thing. That ain't happening. Tomb Raider is not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Tomb Raider is not a thing. I don't think they were just... Might have been one of those things where we kind of have to do something with it or else we lose it.
They thought much higher of it than they should have, put it that way. So, anyway. I digress.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I think the clip of Marvel shows is good. It's good. All right, Chris, thank you very much for your questions. Now moving on to Mr. JJ Semino. Drew and Carl, if you could kill off one character in comics, either out of spite or to give a great story with emotions, who would it be and how would it go?
Wow, that's very open-ended.
That's a tough question because freaking everybody's died at one point or another.
Yeah. Spite? Oh, I can kill a lot of characters for spite. Let's see, who would I spite kill? I'll spite kill Deadpool.
Saw that coming a mile away.
And I'd keep him dead for a long time.
In a pool.
Wow. Actually, there you go. Nailed it. He drowns to death. And they put the cover on, they never take it off.
I don't know. It's tough because, like, I think the characters whose deaths are the most meaningful are the secondary characters. You know, there was...
In service to the main characters, you mean? I mean...
Kind of in service, but not always... It doesn't always have to be an event type thing. Perfect example. Mid-Clone Saga, you know, for as bad as it was, Marvel decided to kill off Aunt May.
Ah.
But it wasn't like anything nefarious or anything like that. She just got sick and passed away of natural causes. And it was an incredibly emotional story because she revealed that she had known the whole time Peter was Spider-Man.
So,
and the way she did it was just so well written because Peter and May were on top of the Empire State Building, and they, you know, May sees a couple birds fly by, and she's like, I've always wanted to ask you, how does it feel to fly over the city like that? And he's like, what are you talking about? Oh, she's like, oh, Peter, how you lived above me. How could I not know? And it's just one of those things. And then she just fell ill and passed away of natural causes.
Until she didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really great story. And Marvel just ruined it by, like, I guess, like, she was some sort of Osborne construction or something.
There it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I mean, I would want to be a character like kind of along those lines. I mean, you could almost say Alfred, maybe. A character. I would say that
at all before. Well, I mean,
probably Batman and Robin.
Well, yeah.
I mean, a character who is kind of central to the main character. I think that stuff works best on.
It's also the easy route to go, though.
It depends on how you do it.
That's how you get the old women in refrigerators trope. So you gotta.
Yeah, I mean, don't do it. I mean, like, again, going back to an anime story, it was understandable. Character had been around for 30 plus years at that point. She was old when she was introduced.
Yeah,
like, if you want to, if you were all right, let's say I'm saying Alfred, I would want to see it like he has cancer or something, and it's kind of a long
McGregor syndrome.
No.
And Mr. Freeze has the cure conveniently on his suit.
McGregor syndrome, where you are unknowingly compelled to watch Ewan McGregor movies.
Wow.
Nonstop.
Oh, dear.
No, just something like that where you have a chance to tell an emotional story and put the hero or main character in a situation where they can't, like, punch their way out of it or something like that.
Sure, I get that.
I think things like that. So, yeah. Drew.
Holla.
Today's the first day of spring.
It is.
The snow is melting.
Kind of.
The bunnies are hopping.
Huey's killing them.
Yeah. That's morbid.
Oh, I got a story for you.
Dogs are running through the muddy backyards all across western New York.
Yeah.
So how many days until Long Beach?
Jay?
So here's the question: is how many days until you leave for Long Beach, and how many days till the actual wrestling event?
We leave Thursday the 22nd. Well, Jay will be joining me later, and the event is on the 25th.
Cool.
Sunday. So from this day, the day of recording, the 20th here, we are 5 days away from the event.
And you will not be back in time for us to record on our normal time.
We won't. However, there are wheels in motion, possibly, if I can get my Surface up and running with my recording software, where there might be a very special episode of The Devil's Due featuring Jay Gelsomino, covering Strong Style Evolved from Long Beach.
Alrighty.
It's possible. I'm just going to put that out there.
It's possible. Carl, would you rather fight one giant Kurt Russell or 100 mini Kurt Russells? The minis are wide open Tombstone Russells. The giant one is Captain Ron. It's a tough call because, like, I don't know how many we're talking.
This is an SNL skit.
Yeah, probably.
The Mini Ditka.
Mini Ditka.
So,
I'm gonna say, you know what? I probably have a better chance against the giant Captain Ron one.
Okay, he's kind of clueless.
Yeah. I'm going to go with giant Captain Ron. I have no strategy, but, go for the legs. It might be our only way of stopping him, is all I can think of at the moment. So, yeah. All right. Jay, thank you very much for your questions. We always appreciate questions and comments being sent to the show. As much as we love Jay and Alan, folks, they don't have to be the only ones sending questions. We appreciate what they do for us and give us some fun stuff to talk about, but if you got anything you want to ask us or mention or even insult us on the show.
I mean, we'd pretty prefer you don't.
Yeah, but send us, join in the fun. It's an open door policy here in the courthouse. We'd love to hear from you. All right, so cross-examination is done. Now we move on to our case files, and we got a bunch of stuff to go over this week. Start with the big bad mamma jamma. Drew?
Yeah?
We got a new Avengers Infinity War trailer.
We did. It's very Thanos-centric.
Oh, boy.
I mean, look, at this point, I'm in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of stuff coming out now, like, not spoilers, but, just details.
Yep.
And I'm kind of in the point like,
blackout.
Hands in the ears. I don't stop telling me things. I'm going to see the movie. I want to be surprised, and I want it to just kind of wash over me.
Yep.
Like,
I've seen all I need to see. We've got our tickets.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm very ready. Okay, Carl, who dies?
I have a theory. I don't think you will like this theory. I don't think they're actually going to do this, but I'm saying it might be cool if they did do this. Because I was thinking, like, for the next chapter of Marvel Cinematics, like, what's the next big event they build to? Now, I was thinking over the past big events of Marveldom that I can remember.
Now there are many.
And I thought of one off the top of my head. I was like, no, you don't want to do that again because it's kind of thematic to the last one. But it seems like all the big Marveldom events kind of focus around aliens in one form or another.
Yeah.
So I kind of, all right. So you kill Iron Man.
Yep, that seems pretty obvious at this point.
Iron Man and Cap. Vegas are probably safe bets on Iron Man dead, Cap either dead or retired, walking away from the role because of losing Iron Man and whatnot.
Sure.
Battles won. Happy day, Kalukale. Credits roll. End of the credits. End credits stinger.
Go on.
This is a dark room somewhere. You've got Nick Fury standing in front of a table that's lit. And there's a body on the table. He's covering you kind of zooming in from behind him, and his body's covering the upper torso. Mm-hmm. But you could tell because the armor's on it that it's Stark's body.
Yeah.
Maria Hill comes walking behind him, and Nick Fury simply says, "We have a problem." And the camera pans over his shoulders.
I see what you're doing here.
And it's a Skrull.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't a big fan of the event in the comics, but I think with Secret Invasion...
Squandered potential.
I think with Secret Invasion, you can build to that over the next chapter of Marvel Cinema.
You could.
And
yeah,
it leaves the door open if you ever want to bring Robert Downey Jr. back.
Sure. I get tight with that because I feel like people don't like to think that the things that they've invested in aren't real. And if you start saying, psych, it wasn't who you thought it was a Skrull, that could rub some people the wrong way.
Let's not say when he became a Skrull.
I know, but it introduces that sliver of doubt. And as a Spider-Man fan, you should appreciate that.
No, I get that.
Ben Reilly. He was always Peter Parker. He was always... No!
That did not last long.
No.
That lasted for half a year.
Yeah. So, that seems like a safe choice. I was, Secret War, I mean...
It's not really something you can really build to, though.
Yeah, I don't really know what you would do. I think they're going to have to just maybe... I don't know. You know what I would do? Here's what I would do. I would do what I've said already. You end the movie, the day has been saved, the universe is somehow rebooted, reset, whatever, but with the Fantastic Four. And then you start building towards the coming of Galactus.
I don't think you do the Fantastic Four in this film, even in like a stinger scene. But I think
depends if they can or not.
if you find a way to kind of launch the next chapter with them. Well, no, I think the next chapter should launch with Black Panther 2. Establish him as your central.
That's gonna happen.
Iron Man style character, and then if you can introduce Fantastic Four, then yes, build towards Galactus.
That's the smart move. That's what I would do.
Because you have to, in a way, you kind of have to top Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet.
And who big? Well, I mean, Thanos is a big deal, obviously, but I mean, visually and in terms of his the shadow that looms large, figuratively and literally speaking, it's Galactus, man. You got to bring in Galactus and the Surfer and the Fantastic Four and whatever cosmic heroes you still got. Captain Marvel will be there. She'll be on the level with that. The Guardians obviously they're not going anywhere, so I mean you can keep them around.
Actually, I kind of hope they just kind of go back to space.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. It's all good. Pip the Troll can show up.
Pip. He had an Infinity Gem in between his toes.
That seems like the way to go. Build up the little Fantastic Four universe and bring Galactus to Earth or however you're going to do it, and then bring all the characters together again to fight him.
See, and this is why I'm surprised that they didn't bring Adam Warlock in sooner, because it feels like I know obviously Marvel's established they take the title, but they don't necessarily do the story
Yeah.
from the title.
Yeah.
See Age of Ultron.
And Civil War to a degree.
And
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree. They did what they could with the title. Like they take the spirit and the theme of the story and they kind of do that. If you have Adam Warlock, then you can introduce the Infinity Watch after this movie.
Yeah.
Because you've got Drax and Gamora.
You do. And
then you could just kind of fill in with ours, and that gives you freedom to introduce other characters to Guardians and things like that. I don't know. It's a whole rich plethora. We're getting good stuff with Marvel, but clearly we'd be getting better stuff if Drew and I were calling shots.
I mean, Kevin Feige knows what he's doing here.
I mean, yeah, he's all right.
Kevin,
but
Fantastic Four. That's the move. That's the move.
Yeah.
I think the timing is looking right for it, and I think the audience is ready for it.
Yep.
So yeah.
And if not, we still got Incredibles 2 coming, so that'll be
that'll have to supplement our Fantastic Four itch.
So moving from Marvel Studios over to our favorite dumpster fire, DC films.
Oh God, what's going on now?
Well, they I don't know if you saw or not. They announced today. They showed today the logo
for
for the
Shazam.
Shazam.
I just saw that.
Looks solid. Looks good. Looks fun.
It's good.
There's an exclamation point at the end, which for some reason kind of
it certainly is a logo for Shazam.
But they announced earlier this week that they are adding another film to their slate.
Are they now?
Of films that I believe are never going to come out.
Oh, what's this one?
New Gods.
Yeah, right.
And they already.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah, and they have a director, Ava DuVernay.
She just did The Wrinkle in Time, right? Okay. I mean,
on paper,
yeah. I was literally going to say that.
Sign me up.
Sure.
Her doing a New Gods movie? Yes. In reality, we know who's trying to make this. This isn't going to happen.
If you can't get Superman and Batman and the Justice League together to succeed, what gives you any reason to think they can pull off the New Gods?
Yeah.
Like, Jack Kirby created the New Gods, and even he had a hard time really making them work on people. It took a long time for them to really leave an impact and stick around enough where people got attached to them.
Like, if I have a choice as far as getting involved with New Gods or Inhumans, I'm going New Gods.
Yes, agreed.
And the characters.
That's a really good comparison, though.
It's kind of Kirby did them both.
Yeah, that's a real solid comparison.
What came first?
Inhumans.
Okay, that makes sense because New Gods are kind of a better version of that,
more or less. But do you know what the New Gods were supposed to be?
What's that?
They were supposed to be literally Marvel's New Gods. Thor and Odin and all them were supposed to die and be cleared away. And the New Gods were supposed to be the New Gods. But history being history, the way it went, Jack Kirby left Marvel entirely and brought the whole concept over to DC and tweaked it a little bit, and it became what it became. In any case, though, we're living in an era where, I just saw this today, that Justice League is the lowest grossing DC film.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
That is absolutely insane. The Justice League should have made $1 billion or more.
Yeah.
Like, on the name alone, that movie makes $1 billion.
Yeah.
And now it can't even crack 230. It can't even do that. 230 million. That shows how inept they are with this stuff. And you're going to tell me that the guys who derped that are going to be able to bring the New Gods to the screen? Oh, I don't know.
And here's another thing. I saw this and give credit where credit is due. Most of the time they're garbage, but every once in a while CBR comes out with something that.
Yeah.
If you come out with a New Gods movie, do you really need Justice League? Because New Gods are clearly going to go against Apocalypse. Because who else would they go against?
Yeah, I mean,
like, you've just nullified the purpose for having Justice League, unless you're focusing Justice League, Earthbound. Which, okay, if you want to do that. So yeah, I don't think it'll happen. If it does happen, it will not be with Ava DuVernay.
You think she's going to get cold feet and bail?
Well, find me, with the exception of Wonder Woman, find me a DC movie that has been released with the director they started with.
Very true. Very, very true.
Well, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Zack Snyder did both from start to finish. But since then,
yeah,
been kind of a rocky road for those DC directors. So yeah, all right. So
good luck with that. Good luck.
It's not going to happen. Okay, so we have some sad news this week, Drew.
Oh,
it was announced officially. I think this was like Wednesday of last week, Wednesday or Thursday, that after attempting to restructure and save the brand, Toys R Us will in fact be closing all its American operations.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's legitimately saddening that there's not going to be a Toys R Us around.
In the world of, first world problems.
Yeah, this is a grand scheme.
But yeah, no, I feel you, man. It was a magical place for kids of our age anyway, that there was this whole place you could go. And it had all the toys you saw in the commercials and you could ever dream of in one place under one roof. And, it was just a magical weekend trips to Toys R Us on the rare weekends I got to go were like, that was a big deal. And that's gone now.
Yeah. Like when this first started, it first started out as a rumor and then later on got confirmed. When it first started out as a rumor, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I was like, Saturday night, Julie was out doing something. I was home with William. Like, you know what? I'm going to take William to Toys R Us. And went to Toys R Us, I was like, I just want to buy like a Luke Skywalker action figure. You obviously can't play with it yet, but I want to have that moment with my son that my father got to have with me numerous times, as we've covered on the show.
Yeah, you had those moments.
Yeah. But like when I got there, they didn't have anything. I think that's one of the. I mean, they're in liquidation mode now. Number of reasons why Toys R Us is going away. Most of them are valid. But it's like, and I've been remembering what it was like compared to what it is now. Now, when you go in Toys R Us, like the Star Wars section is for like the action figures and whatnot is like half a shelving section, whatnot. Whereas back in the day, at its peak, something like Star Wars or He-Man or G.I. Joe or Transformers, they would have an entire aisle, at least on one side, of just ceiling to floor toys for that particular line. Like action figures were 6 and 7 deep on the rack, and the rack was 5.
Well, I wonder how much. I wonder how much is that is your memory though.
No, I've been looking at pictures, old Toys R Us pictures. I was like, "Yep, that's what it was."
Shelf space was at a premium, man. I don't know.
I mean, and obviously you can say that toys themselves just aren't like that anymore. But it's just like it's not the magical place it once was. But that doesn't mean that we want to see it go.
That's not why they closed. They closed because of stupid private capital.
Numerous different reasons why they closed.
Yeah, it's never mind.
It's not just one. It's not just Amazon. There's a lot of people saying
they're leveraged by. They got hosed by their investors. Is what happened.
Yeah,
but I digress. I'm not going to get into a political commentary here. But it's a shame and it sucks. But
apparently from the ashes.
Yeah. Where did this come from?
Nowhere. KB Toys apparently trying to make a comeback.
And extending offers to jobs to the 30,000 people that are getting laid off by Toys R Us, apparently. Yeah. What a world.
That's smart. You got pretty much a pre-trained workforce on your hand right there.
They know the products.
Yeah.
Probably. That's kind of cool. I liked both.
I hope they don't have those KB prices.
Yeah,
KB was always more expensive.
Well, they were always in malls and stuff.
Yeah,
and you got that's mall overhead.
Yeah,
that's pricey, man.
I'm wary because I think I mentioned this to you. I know I mentioned this to someone else. Is that I don't think in today's market, unless you're a necessity, food, clothing, something along those lines, I don't think a store that sells solely one item can survive on that scale.
Mm.
Like smaller, one-offs or local chains, things like that, yes. But like on the scale that Toys R Us was at, I don't think we'll ever see a toy store on that scale again.
Well, that's because kids don't play with toys anymore.
That's part of it. I mean,
kids just like everyone else now. The kids love their screen time.
But kids also do still like toys, not as much as when we were kids, because obviously there's technology there and different. And also like we weren't completely innocent of that either, because as soon as Nintendo came out, how much were you actually playing with your toys?
No, I hear you, but you know what I see kids watching?
What?
This is gonna mess you up. Because it certainly messes me up, and it's weird. And when you see the numbers on it, you're gonna feel real weird.
Porn?
No, weirder. That'd be normal. Like, oh well, yeah.
I think
of a certain age anyway.
I was about to say.
All right, but no, okay. Little kids.
Yeah.
Little kids like watching videos of little kids playing with toys.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Well, okay. Yes, it is weird, but parents can't afford that toy.
No, that's not. No. That the kids don't know that. The kids. I'm serious. They don't even want the toy. They just want to watch a video of other kids playing with the toy.
That's weird.
What is going on here?
That's weird.
Get off my lawn, sir.
Why do I have to get off the lawn?
You're okay. Come back.
Okay.
You kids.
It's our lawn.
It's our lawn. Come on back. I didn't mean to dump on you. Things aren't as bad as they seem. Oh, hey, before I forget.
What's up?
Back to the week real quick.
Yeah.
This is a big aside, but I don't want to forget.
That's what we do here.
So I think it was Saturday night. Maybe not. Maybe it was Sunday night. The Dark Knight was on, and I was watching it. And I
saw your comments.
I watched
and the
it for
messages,
a solid couple hours, and what I've come away with from The Dark Knight is
was it on like network TV.
HBO or Showtime or something.
Yeah.
The Joker's fantastic, and whenever he's on the screen, the movie's really good. Whenever he's not on the screen, that movie doesn't hold up at all. It's not very good.
Recently, and I was still as fine with it as I've always been.
The
two things you decided to rage against, though, it's just kind of like I caught the messages early in the morning. I was like, I don't have time for this. You were complaining about Harvey Dent's hair.
He looked terrible. He looked stupid.
And just Maggie Gyllenhaal's existence.
Oh God, she's awful. She number one, she looks awful. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dump on her, but I do. She looks terrible. Number two, her performance was just awful.
I mean, you don't really need much out of that character.
You gotta give me more than really stilted, I'm clearly reading a script delivery. The plot is the movie's big on its messages, but the actual details of its plot are really not good. Like, there's a lot of assumptions made by a lot of key players to get all the chess pieces exactly where they need to be at that exact moment in time.
It shifts gears a lot.
And it's like, how did you know that would happen the way it happened to get this to happen?
Because he's Batman.
No, not Batman, but the whole plot to capture the Joker in the middle there with when they're transporting Dent. We got you, and when Gordon faked his death.
Yeah.
And all that. How did you know that would go down that way? How did you know the Joker would get out of the truck and be in that place at that time to be busted by you at that moment in time? Like, how did the Joker know that he wouldn't just get away with capturing Dent in that instance and get to where we had? No. He had the fat guy with the phone in his gut get brought in after he had gotten arrested because he planned on being. Oh my God, dude! There's so many plot conveniences. It's insane.
Sometimes you just gotta think ahead 32 steps.
Having said that, again, the Joker's fantastic, but I think if Ledger was not as amazing in that role, that movie would not be nearly as revered as it seems to be.
Okay.
So I just wanted to.
No, that's fair.
It came to me on Saturday or Sunday. I was like, this movie, I don't know. Oh, the fight choreography's bad. It's bad.
It's
very slow.
Outrageously great in those films.
Yeah, Nolan.
There's a lot of quick moving camera shots, and
I like Nolan, overall, but action, not his forte.
Yeah, he's like Bryan Singer, just less rapey.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So
get off track there.
No, that's fine. Back to news. Drew, make sure you don't overspend while you're in California. You're going to want to save your money.
Uh-oh.
Because the Atari VCS is going to be available for pre-order soon.
I don't think I have to worry about it. Yeah, I saw this. I sent this out this morning to you guys.
Okay, so this is what the Atari VCS
Break it down
is.
for us, Carl.
The Atari is sick of having money because, after making profits, just making games, they decided to get back into the console market. Kind of. So they're coming out with a new console. Once again, kind of. It looks really sweet. It's a very cool looking. It's a retro but modern design at the same time. The controllers look pretty sweet because, again, they're retro but modern at the same time. But, okay, so they're saying it's going to operate twofold. First off, be kind of like a NES Classic to where you can play all the old Atari games. Now, Drew, we kind of addressed this on our guest spot on the Memory Machine.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Memory Machine.
Once again.
Atari games, at least for you and I, don't really hold up.
No.
They're not great games.
They're too simple, and the Atari...
After 10 minutes, you've seen all the game's going to do.
Yeah, and, I wish I could tell you that the Atari was, multifaceted in its quality, and it really wasn't. It was all we had.
Yeah.
Or, they, me, whatever.
Its legacy is legitimate.
Sure, it did things.
For as far as going back and revisiting it,
you don't want to.
I don't really need to.
No, its music was terrible.
Music.
Yeah.
Recycling.
No.
So that's.
But Carl, allegedly it can do new games too.
It's
what
designed
I don't know.
to play PC games.
So okay, hang on.
But it can't handle the high-end graphic PC games.
So you're going to get a lot of old games, which is fine.
Old games are games you don't really want to play.
Well, that depends. I mean, if they can hook it up to Steam and have a curated low system intensity list of games available for purchase, I mean that's valid, but
I'll just buy a computer.
It
can do more.
Yeah. This is a boardroom gone.
You put it best. Who is this for?
Yeah, who is it for? And this, again, you know what happened?
Folks, if you're out there and you're amped about this and you're going to be plopping down I don't know what the sticker price is going to be.
Oh, it's not cheap either.
No, it's going to be, I think, at least $200. Let us know, and let us know why, because we're puzzled.
I think it's more than 200, to be honest with you. And, this is some guys at Atari or whoever. It probably wasn't even Atari. It was probably some... dare I say, some venture capitalist Nimrod who talked him into it. They saw the NES Classic fly off the shelves, and they're like, we could... What's out? What else is out there? Atari. And these people are probably older than us.
Yeah.
And they probably have no concept of what game players want or are hip to or have nostalgia for in the year of our Lord 2018.
And clearly they didn't research that Atari was first to the game in the retro system, multiple games of one thing. Just go to your local Rite Aid or
I just don't.
Who's it for?
Who wants this thing? And what are they hoping to get out of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't even play the original cartridges, dude. Like,
that's fine.
You can someone out there's like, well, you bought the Super NT, and it's like, dude, Super NT plays all my carts. It doesn't have anything built into it. Well, it's got 2 games built into it, but they don't count. Like, it is for all intents and purposes a Super Nintendo that I put my cartridges into.
Yeah.
That has a market. There are people out there, many of us, who collect old games and still play them on original hardware.
I don't need something like this to play the original carts. I barely need it to play the original Atari games.
I don't need that much Atari in my life.
I know Nate's listening. He's like, "Oh, you guys are so wrong," and that's fine, Nate.
We set this on the memory machine, man. Like, what do you got? What are you going to sit there and play for more than 5 minutes? Pitfall, maybe.
Like nothing that I would want to go back and really, really play, because it's all like licensed stuff, like Empire Strikes Back, or I've always wanted to revisit the Spider-Man Atari game.
Do you though? Wow. I mean, Pitfall, Choplifter.
Yeah.
It's
not a lot.
That's and I'm reaching.
Pretty much all the Activision games.
Yeah.
Activision was good on Atari.
Sure.
But yeah. So yeah.
Good luck with all that.
That's happening. So let's shift gears to positive video game news.
Okay.
We had a mini Nintendo.
The Nindy Direct.
The Nindy, whatever it's called. So it was a Nintendo Direct today, but for indie games.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in there. It looks really interesting. I'm interested to see what the Mark of the Ninja is going to be. Bad North, I think, look really cool.
The Messenger is
right
up our alley.
Yeah. An 8-bit game where you can time travel,
to
and when you time travel, you become 16-bit. That's
kind of brilliant.
That's genius.
If money were no object, I would probably buy most of those games, honestly, and play all of them, because it's like, wow, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. But when they're probably going to be $12 to $20 a piece, it gets a little harder to. I have a harder time justifying buying all the things. I'm
excited for Banner Saga.
I know. You mentioned that before,
because it seems to be a very Final Fantasy Tactics like game,
and there's 3 of them, and they're all coming to Switch, all at once,
and
all for you.
Yeah, and I guess in that game, you build up your characters, but when your characters die, they're dead. You don't bring them back. It's the really real world. There ain't no coming back.
You know what I thought was interesting about that Nindy Direct too is a lot of those games are either Switch exclusive or
Switch
premiering.
Yeah,
that's wow, man. This is the Nintendo I want to see.
Yeah,
the one that reaches a hand out to independent developers. A lot of the games I've played in the last 5 years have been indie games, and I've really, really, really enjoyed them.
Yep.
More than a lot of AAA titles. And if I can maybe extend out my timeline here, looking at my crystal ball, dude, I got to tell you, AAA games, I'm not saying it's over, but the cost to make them is never going to go down. And I just have this weird feeling like the market is setting itself up in a very unsustainable way for those games to keep coming out and being good and viable without loot boxes and garbage that we don't want in games.
I don't think it's over, but I think they're going to be fewer and farther between, which I think ultimately is good.
It is, but I also think that they're kind of with microtransactions and ever spiraling budgets and price tags and it's shaping up grimly.
It's going to be interesting.
So
it's funny because EA announced earlier this week that they're revamping the progression system in Battlefront 2, and I'm like, dude, it's too late. Your game's dead. I'm not even playing it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know, man. Indie games though, I think are great. Some people out there have a hard time with the pixel art aesthetic. They hate it. I don't understand that mentality.
When it gets to be too basic is when I'm kind of check out. When it gets to be just a couple steps above Atari is when I'm just like, no thanks.
It's all in the presentation for me.
Give me at least Nintendo Plus aesthetic, and I'll start listening to what you have to say.
Fair enough.
So yeah, you know what the one that actually did nothing for me was? Fighting game.
I was going to ask you about that.
I was like,
If Capcom made it, would you have been like, oh, okay?
I would have been, if Capcom had made that, I would have been like, oh, Capcom. Because I'm not judging it based on the fact that it's an indie game. I'm just judging it based on what I saw. I'm like, it looks very stiff. Doesn't look very fluid at all.
Give it a shot.
It might be. It might be early. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Could be good.
Speaking of fighting games,
yeah.
This brings us on to our next, I believe, final news story. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection street date was announced today. It's going to be, I believe, May 29th.
That's coming soon.
Yes, May 29th. So I'm very excited about this. Even though they're all games I currently own. I know you're not going to chastise me for buying games I currently own again.
Nope, I do it too.
So the street date was announced today, and some different features of the versions were announced today. If you are pre-ordering for PS4 or Xbox One, you will get a download code for Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is not included on the disc for the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That, unfortunately, is not available for the Switch, but the Switch is getting an exclusive tournament mode that the other two won't have.
I thought it looked pretty neat.
Yeah, looks interesting.
I like brackets.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of like local tournament modes. A couple games have done that at this point.
Is that Street Fighter that came out for Switch previous going to be included on that? That Ultra Street Fighter?
Ultra
Super whatever.
Ultra Street Fighter 2: The Final Challengers.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
No, it's just going to be like, it's not even the HD remix that's going to be on the 30th Anniversary Collection, which I'm kind of okay with.
That's fine,
because
they've
said they have stressed that these are all arcade perfect translations with any bugs or whatnot included.
Okay.
So, I've got my HD remix on PS3, and I can, want to shell out the extra money for another controller, I can get it for Switch, and
so let's get hyped because we're gonna play some Fighting Street.
No.
It's a terrible game.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like the quantum leap between Street Fighter 1 and Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's bad.
It is pretty bad. It's very terrible, actually.
So yeah, I think that is it for the news.
Pretty much. Did you see those Joe Quesada covers for Daredevil number 600?
Yes, I showed them to you.
Yeah. Those are nice.
Look nice.
Those are nice.
Look nice.
What if we get Hey.
There was some Luke Cage casting.
There was.
Annabella Sciorra was cast as the villain.
I don't know who that is.
I think I read the article. I don't want to go through looking for it right now because it's just going to slow us down. She's playing a character that's, I believe the article mentioned is from Punisher comics.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. Okay, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, we'll see what.
Let's see how
how it goes.
Here's the thing. People are like, oh, cross it over with the Punisher. And it's like, yeah, but did you miss the memo where like the Punisher doesn't really kill mafia people anymore? Now he's got to be like this covert operative. We'll talk about all this momentarily.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's going on. Oh, hey, remember how you lambasted Marvel for their relaunch of everything?
Yeah.
Justice League?
Yeah, I saw that.
Justice League relaunch. Scott Snyder and Jim Chung on art. Seeing him, dude, seeing the artwork for that, him drawing DC characters, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange to me. He's been doing Avengers for like a decade.
Yep.
Young Avengers and some big crossovers and what's like, no, I'm drawing Justice League. Oh my God, it's so strange.
I might pick it up. See, that's the problem with Scott Snyder. When he's on, he's so dang good. But then, like, it hits that right turn, Clyde.
Then 0 year.
Then you're just like, done. Like, All-Star Batman. So great. Then he had to, like, make it so that Bruce and Harvey were in a boarding school together, sharing their mental problems. I'm like, no!
Yeah. No,
Deborah, no! I've heard Kevin Smith's heart attack story. All I need to hear. That's the only problem listening to multiple Kevin Smith podcasts is like you will hear the same story multiple times in a week. But glad to see he's doing better.
Exactly. Just keep kicking, please.
And glad to see Mark Bernard's okay too.
Yeah. Oh man.
Craziness. All right. So news is done. Drew.
He's dropping the papers. He's dropping the papers, folks. Okay.
Yours sounds better than I do, so I'm just going to defer to you.
I don't know. Yours.
You got like the old Marvel logo sound.
Yeah, but yours has that satisfying. Yeah, that crackle. I can't do the crackle anymore. That's you. Then I've got. It's not as good, you know.
Yeah, well, we each bring something in the game. Okay, Punisher, episode 11, Danger Close. Drew, I really kind of want to be done with the Punisher. At least this series, because I've started.
I feel the same way.
I've started watching Jessica Jones.
Okay,
and I'm loving it.
Wow, you're one of the few. Okay,
and I just like.
So you're the guy.
Allegedly. I think people were expecting something different. Jessica Jones is a detective story, and this is paced fine. I'm really enjoying Jessica Jones, and coming back to Punisher, I'm just like, oh yeah, a couple more episodes of you. But,
well, I mean, you get a lot of stuff in this one.
We get some bang bang.
You get a lot of bang bang in this one.
The show needed more episodes like this.
Yes.
Not every episode should have been like this.
But more.
At least every other.
Sure. More punishment in my Punisher, please. Yeah, I totally agree. So this episode starts with a Marilyn Manson track. Number 1, I'm shocked that Marvel shelled out licensing for Marilyn Manson.
Really? Have you heard the soundtracks to Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2?
That's movies, sir. TV,
Okay.
Not as much money. That's it. Number 2, of course, they pick the most dad rocky, ballady acoustic guitar song possible.
I am not a Marilyn Manson fan, so I will defer to you.
His first 3 to... Yeah, there's a sliding scale, but the first few records were really good. And then you would not later find out, but it does coincide, or maybe not coincidentally, that Trent Reznor produced them. So, you know. But anyway, they were really good. But it's not even that this song is bad. It's just like, it's that tone.
It's the safe choice.
For this dad rockin' Punisher, guitar playing Punisher. Yeah, it's a very safe choice. It's just, man. No.
Oh. No. Deborah, no.
I can't. No.
No.
Anyway.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. Deborah. It's fine. I'm nitpicking, but it's just a thing.
Yeah, we're having kind of a hobo barbecue and
they're cooking hobos?
No, just a bunch of hobos sitting around a bunch of fire barrels. Every time I see a barrel fire, I always think of Double Dragon. I don't know why.
I always think of The Crow.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why. I just do. Yeah. That's where I go.
Double Dragon the movie, mind you, not the video game.
Oh.
Funny connection between Double Dragon the movie and The Crow.
Go on.
In Double Dragon the movie, one of the stars, aside from Melissa Milano and Scott Wolf, was Mark Dacascos.
Yes,
I think his last name
yes.
Who went on to play Eric in the Crow television series.
Oh, look at that.
I remember seeing the Crow television series when I was in college. I was like, oh, it's a dude from Double Dragon. He landed on his feet.
It's Billy Lee.
Kinda. Good for him.
He did a lot of stuff.
He came to life. Good for him.
I think he hosts Iron Chef now.
He did a movie that lives in a warm place in my heart that people will say is a bad 90s martial arts film, but I love it. Only the Strong.
Okay.
Its hook was it was dealing with capoeira, the Brazilian dance fighting style.
Like they have
think Eddie Goro Tekken.
Oh, okay.
All right. I got nothing else for you then.
All right.
It's a good move though. I enjoy it.
Sure. So Frank's all busted up and he comes back home, air quotes.
Yeah.
After last episode's,
back to the lair.
Yeah.
with a nice kitchen.
And
Micro's still rocking that bathrobe.
Yeah. What a life to be on the lam. He just rock a robe all day.
All he needs is a bathrobe, man.
He must smell. He probably doesn't bathe often.
Can I say something about where Frank was kind of giving himself medical attention?
Sure.
You see the bathroom, the dilapidated, rundown bathroom.
Yes.
The water that's coming out of those pipes seems awfully clean.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little nitpicky thing, but I'm just saying. I wouldn't want to be splashing water from a sink like that on my face.
No. But here we are.
Yeah.
So they're still at odds because Micro
went to Madani
without Frank. And Frank's a little upset. But he's all busted up, so he relents and lets Micro help him and whatnot. But you're like they're having their little diatribe about what we said we do it together, and you know, you're dead to me, and I'm gonna go kill them all, yada yada.
They have a lover spat.
Kind of, yeah, kind of. And then we cut. Madani's brings in Russo into Homeland, and she starts drilling him on the death of Max and the op that went bad. And she gets him on tape, and she's trying to get him to confess, but like, come on, man, you know he's not going to crack there.
She really overplays her hand here.
She does.
And it shows that it's very easy to get her riled and to get her to make mistakes. And Rafi points out later in the episode that this was a mistake.
She is not the best actress either. I just want to put that out. If I'm going to rag on Maggie Gyllenhaal, I'm going to be in fairness.
I think she's fine.
She's okay.
She's fine.
She's okay.
I think it's the character that isn't the best, but again, not the worst either. It's fine.
It's fine. How'd you guys like the Punisher? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's the best live action Punisher there's ever been.
As a whole?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Barenthal is still
yeah.
fantastic.
Ray Stevenson is like underrated.
I think he's rated.
He's pretty solid as Frank.
He is solid. I've never said otherwise.
I think I like him as Frank, actually.
But do you like him better than Barenthal?
For what? He does the portrayal that I like. The cold, detached, remorseless killer Punisher.
Yeah, and that movie proved that Punisher doesn't work for a wide audience.
There were other reasons that movie didn't work. Lots of them.
Yeah, I know, but you need...
Hi, I'm the guy who plays Jigsaw. I'm going to just ham it up in this whole film and not take any of this seriously.
Batman 66 villain in a Punisher movie.
Basically that.
Yeah.
That and there was some tonal clashes in that flick where I'm like, what are we doing here?
He did hit a guy who was jumping from one building to another with a grenade launcher.
That's the scene I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Tone, folks.
Kind of cool.
Cool, hokey, I'm not sure. But,
It was cool.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't go well. Rafi has to chastise her. I like Rafi. He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, seems solid.
Now we've got Marion and Rollins. Once again, nefarious meeting taking place on the water.
Yeah.
Trope.
I mean,
every single time I see two people on the water, I'm like, oh, they're talking. They're doing something. They're up to stuff.
Those people in Niagara Falls, all of them,
they're all up to no good.
They're all to shadowy affairs.
It's just one of those things. Like it's like the visual. If I had to really nitpick this show, it falls on tropes a lot. This being one of them. Like,
yeah.
There's we know that they're shadowy and that they're up to no good because there are two people walking on a dock. It's like,
and we have two scenes of that in this episode.
We do. Between the same people, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe. Man. Just go to Starbucks or something. Like, no one cares. Dotson. We got Dotson here. Nobody cares.
Shouldn't use my name.
It's like we learned nothing from Jurassic Park. Nobody cares.
What do we learn from Jurassic Park? Don't make dinosaurs. A. B. Dotson. Nobody cares.
It's great.
So yeah. So Rollins is kind of laying out what's going on.
He's very cool about all this.
Yeah, he's very matter of fact, and I think I like that character for that reason. Like I don't think he's the hero of his own story. I don't think he's the villain of his own story. I don't even think he does. I think he simply thinks that this is where I am, this is what needs to be done, and this is how it's going to get done.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's very cold and calculating like that.
Yep. And then he drags Marianne into it.
Maid Marian.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
Probably. So yeah, it drags her into it. Kind of. He's leaving key things out.
He is.
Which he then...
But there's a certain point...
In the second meeting.
Yeah, there's a certain point, though, where she knows enough.
Yeah.
To where when she does know what she does know, when Rafi brings her in to have that meeting with Madani, she covers for Rollins a bit. She doesn't play necessarily so nice with Homeland.
Yeah, because again, she doesn't want the poop to be on her shoes.
Yeah,
to use the parlance of the show.
Sure, fair enough. But
there's only, and we see in the second meeting, there's only a certain point she's willing to go to with that.
There is, and she does back. There's a point where
once she finds out Homeland agents have been killed on American soil, she's like, okay, fix this, and then you're done.
Yeah, but even still, given what Rollins has done, she offers to let him off very lightly.
Yeah.
Fix this and then retire and then, see you later. Dude, you now know that he's complicit in the deaths of Homeland Security agents on U.S. soil, funded a terror or a torture program with money from drugs in Afghanistan. Lady, take some action.
Put
here.
him in jail.
Do something.
Well, I mean, I'm sure with CIA...
Well,
they probably all got a little bit of dirt.
Sure. And that's where this show, it's building its narrative on that kind of stuff, and it's setting that kind of murky boogeyman kind of stuff up so that Frank, and by some level of comparison, is more relatable, or you're more willing to go along with him in the face of this big evil machine.
Yeah, it's like you've always said. The way you make Frank, air quotes, likable is to put him up against something worse.
Yeah.
Well, for this Frank that we're being given, this is kind of that thing that's worse.
And again, I've said before, that story has been told in the comics, so I don't mean to totally tear it down here. It's fine. It's Garth Ennis has done a few like that, where the bad guys are these old hard military guys that are just part of a machination where they that's just what they do. And they're monstrous.
We don't hate this show. It's just kind of not what we were hoping it was going to be.
That's a fair way to put it. Yeah,
still better than Iron Fist.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I had so many breakpoints with that show, but I tried to truck through, and then eventually I did tap out.
Yeah. So one thing that I bumped up against hard in this episode. So Frank has made a decision. He's ditching Micro. He's just going to do it his way. And to that extent, he is bringing back the skull.
Yes.
And then we get this 5-minute diatribe on what the skull is.
Yeah, I thought you would bring that up. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's just a skull. It doesn't need
symbolism.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a specific skull. I think the word you meant to say was symbology.
Yep.
What's the symbology there?
Yeah, Micro gives him this whole
he's like, you know what kind of skull that is? I'm like, it's a skull. He just spray painted it on a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
It's a bulletproof vest skull.
Yeah. Two things about that.
Okay.
Real quick. Number one.
If you're telling me it's from the comic, okay, fine.
It's not. The skull's the skull. That's it.
Yeah. It's the skull. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
That's Frank's gimmick, and he sticks to it.
Yep.
One, The skull's too big. It's a little overbearing.
I don't mind that. I think the visual of the skull is ultimately fine.
It's too large on the chest. Number 2, what a vest. Because that thing takes
Let's talk about that.
a lot of punishment, and he's okay.
From my understanding,
I don't think that's the way vests work, sir.
Could be wrong. Once a vest takes one shot, it's no longer usable. Because I think
don't know.
It compromises the way the fibers are weaved together.
I would think, but I'm not an engineer.
It doesn't have
structural integrity.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case with modern ones. Maybe they can withstand more than one. But, you know, he's dealing with military black ops guys, right? You'd think the ammo that they're packing is going to put him down. Vest or no vest.
Yeah. You know what? I've got a friend in the Secret Service. I'm going to ask him this question.
Just make sure he doesn't violate any security protocols.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't.
Okay. Yeah, let's find out. So, yeah. What a vest. So okay. We got a lot of things happen in this
Jumping
episode.
back.
A lot happens in this episode.
Cop shows up at Micro's family's house.
Stupid kid. Micro's stupid son. You little jerk. Ugh. What's his name? Kevin or something? I don't know. Screw him. What a jerk. My God. He calls the Punisher tip line.
Yep.
On his mother.
Yep.
And then fake cop shows up because Rollins is listening for anything Punisher related. And then fake cop shows up and kidnaps him and the mom. He's like, I'm sorry, Mom. If I were his mother, I'd be like, this is all your fault. I have no son. Anyway. Luckily, his daughter gets away. Micro's daughter is crafty and she escapes and then makes contact. Well, Frank makes contact.
Yeah.
And they hatched a little rescue op plan. Frank's going to go deal with all this business and then they're going to rescue them and yada yada.
You have a Android phone, right?
I do.
Can you take your battery out of your phone?
No.
I can't take my battery out of my iPhone.
Here's the thing.
I can take a SIM card out.
It depends on your phone. Some manufacturers let you do it, others don't.
Okay.
The Samsung S series, I can't. In my previous phone, the actually, let me think about that for a second. No, my LG, I couldn't either. Was it LG? Yeah, my LG Envy, or not Envy. What am I talking about? That's, oh my God, that's like 10 years ago phone. The HTC, that's the one. My HTC One, I couldn't take it out either. It was all built in. My LGs, I could. My Samsung S3 or 4, I still could take the battery out, but on the new, this is the 8. No, that's all built in there. You can't do that anymore. And if the slimmer the phone, the less likely it is you're getting that battery out. But anyway, also a lot of flip phones being used, but then again, they're good for burners. So but that might just also be another little TV show shorthand, like the flip phone's like the burner phone.
Did you hear the banana phone from The Matrix is making a comeback?
Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone. Oh, you mean the one that the slidey phone?
Yeah.
Okay, question about that, because I did see that. Was the actual phone spring-loaded like that, or did they rig that for the movie? Because I've heard it both ways.
I don't know.
Okay. Just checking.
I was very late to the cell phone game.
All right.
I don't think I had a cell phone until like 2008.
Okay. Just checking.
So yeah, we got a
little reunion.
Get kidnapped. Got a little reunion.
Micro and the daughter get back together.
Let's see. Micro's hesitation to go meet his daughter makes no sense to me. Because last episode, or the episode before that, he is all amped to go to his son and actually shows up and almost appears before his son. But now he's like, I don't know if I can go see my daughter.
Well,
that doesn't make sense to me.
In fairness, he was chastised roundly by Frank for trying to interfere and go see the kid. The son.
But I'm...
Things are different now. Your kids are getting kidnapped.
Yeah,
I feel you. I understand.
Yeah. You want to just get to the fun part of the episode?
Sure.
because I'm just looking over my notes here.
Frank does his best Kevin McAllister impression, and he rigs the whole house to explode.
Yeah. This is a much more believable Home Alone.
We know that you're in there. That you're all alone.
And then shotgun through the keyhole.
Oh.
Yeah. Frank sets up because he knows Billy's sending a team. And Frank does what we wanted to see Frank do. He punishes.
He punishes, and he punishes hard.
Much punishment.
Yeah. Lots of bullets flying. Lots of faces exploding via shotgun blast.
Yep.
And last I checked, that's the second time we've gotten to see that in a Marvel TV show, a shotgun blast to the face from Frank Castle. That's impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Stabbings in beheading.
Yep. Good use of a decapitated head.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good. Like I said, the show needed more of that.
Well, this is where we get to see the basically the cold calculation of Frank.
Yeah.
This is Frank unhinged.
Yeah.
So he's capping these guys off. There's moments when he's up close and personal trying to get information out of them, and when they don't talk, he doesn't even think twice. He just shoots him in the face blankly, like just no expression, nothing. Cold, efficient, done. That's the Punisher, really.
Yeah.
And you should be afraid of him. So if anyone out there was like, I don't know, I was watching the show and Frank kind of spooked me there. Like, good.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Hopefully next season will be all of that.
My only gripe with Bernthal as Frank, though, is he likes to do the screamy thing a lot.
I'm okay with that.
In context. It depends. Right. He does it a lot, though. It's something I noticed. Drago! He does get to talk to Billy and kind of says, come and get me, more or less, right?
More or less. Like they set up an exchange for he's going to swap himself and Micro for Micro's wife and son.
Okay.
And then, he meets up with Micro and Madani back at the van.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the episode ends.
Touchy-feely Frank there.
Well, touchy-feely Frank. He's good with the kids.
Yeah.
Shoving knives in their neck and whatnot. Life lessons from Frank.
Fair enough. This is a good episode. More of these kinds of episodes would have helped me have maybe a better overall impression of this show. But here we are.
I think if I remember correctly, the show is really solid from here
to the end.
To like the last 20 minutes of the last episode.
I think you're right. You're right. We're going to find out because we are coming near the end. So stay tuned and whatnot. All right.
Cool.
There we go.
All righty. So, dear listeners, if you would like to communicate with us, send us any questions, comments, stuff to read on the show, we would love to hear from you. You can find us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/devilsdopod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all this information available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, any closing thoughts?
Well, in case I don't get around to doing the show with Jay next week, it will be a couple weeks till I speak to you again. So just know that I'm en route to California. I'm en route to Long Beach, and hype is high. Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks. Just inject it into my veins.
Sounds like a porn title. Like a porn parody of wrestling is what it sounds like.
That's why it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know if you can't do that, because I'll probably just do a live stream.
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Can do.
Something.
Will do.
Yeah. So I think, given the events of this week, closing to the show a little more appropriate than our standard closing would probably be, I don't want to grow up.
Oh.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Give you the sad Hulk music remix.
A million toys in Toys R Us I can play with. You know the words, Drew.
I do. Keep going.
From bikes to trains to video games. It's the coolest toy store.
That was the biggest. That's okay. Cool. This is good.
There is. I don't want to grow up. 'Cause baby, if I did.
Baby. Wow.
I wouldn't be. I couldn't be.
Oh.
A Toys R Us kid.
I gotta go.